Hello everyone. Well, I hope that your week has been as exciting as mine, because this last week I got a new motorbike. Yesterday morning I set out to do my first errand on my bike. I wanted to go and buy something not very far away from where we live, and the particular place I was looking for was numbered 100 in the street that it was in. And when I got into that street, the first building I saw was building 89, and I presumed that the thing that I was looking for would be further up the street. But as I moved up the street, I noticed that the numbers were getting smaller. So I went around the block and thought that maybe I'd missed it. And when I turned to that street, again, the first building I actually could see the number on was 89. I went along the street, around the block, a third time, and then realized that in my own mind, I was looking for the number series that started with 100 before I started looking for the actual building, and that I was looking on the wrong side of the road. And so I quickly looked across the other side of the street, and sure enough, straight opposite number 89 was in fact number 100 and the place I was looking for. But my mind had assessed the situation and made certain conclusions about the situation I was in. And as a result of that, I went around the block 2 more times than what I needed to. My mind was wrong. Well, I'm okay with that. I'm used to being wrong. But it's interesting how quickly we can assess situations and make evaluations of situations that end up being wrong. Our imaginations get involved, and we think we know what we're looking at or doing or whatever the situation is. But in fact, we are building our assessments on understandings and information that isn't quite correct. Well, this has a very interesting impact upon us when we think about how to live victoriously spiritually, how to live a spiritual life that is rich and full and complete. And I want to read a verse this afternoon that indicates this very issue. The verse says, those in Romans chapter 8 verse 5, those who live according to the sinful nature have their minds set on what that nature desires. But those who live in accordance with the Spirit have their minds set on what the Spirit desires. The mind of the sinful man is death, but the mind controlled by the Spirit is life and peace. The sinful mind is hostile to God. It does not submit to God's law, nor can it do so. Those controlled by the sinful nature cannot please God. You know, for a long time I've thought about the sinful nature. It's that nature that we live with. And it became apparent to me numbers of years ago as I thought about this issue. The sinful nature is in fact our own nature that is developed outside of relationship with God. And so the human sinful nature actually is the distortion that comes from not knowing God's love. And that distortion pushes us towards self-protection, the satisfaction of our own selfish needs, the things that I want become most important, and more than anything else, it tips our imagination towards seeing things framed around the idea of ourselves that is developed because we are not in a relationship with God, that enables us to understand that we are loved and valuable and important to God Himself. And so that nature that develops is at enmity to God, because God is love, and His law is the law of love. And so we don't move towards love easily. We move into almost every situation with a readiness to be self-protective, and many times we imagine that something's going on when it actually isn't going on. What this scripture is telling us is that we need our mind in order to live lives that are rich and full and spiritually complete. We need to allow love to transform our minds so that we no longer live according to that sinful nature, but according to the spiritual nature, a nature immersed in love. And only God can do that.